Hey guys, this is what the future holds for stem cell research and synthetic embryos. So, who am I? My name is Payne Van Tassell. I'm actually a dual enrollment student, so that means I attend Statesboro High and Georgia Southern at the same time. Next year, I do plan on going to Georgia Southern full time, and I will play soccer under Coach Murphy here at Georgia Southern for the men's soccer team. And I plan on my major being nursing. So, before we go into what the future holds for stem cell research, we first need to understand what is a stem cell. So, an article from the National Institute of Health on stem cell basics defines stem cells as a kind of special cell that has the ability to morph into many different kinds of cells during early growth and development. So these stem cells are very unique from different cells where they can change from blood cells into bone cells into whatever the body needs at the time. So there's actually two kinds of stem cells. There's embryonic stem cells and adult stem cells. So the embryonic stem cells are found in the embryo of humans called the blastocyte. And these are the ones that most easily morph into different kinds of cells. But there are stem cells found in small amounts in adults' bone marrow, brain, and even in some blood cells. So, what do we currently know? So, from embryonic stem cells, what they do come from by urostem cell. We currently know that scientists can use these stem cells to identify birth defects in humans, and they'll use these stem cells to screen new drugs. So when a pharmacy comes up with a new prescription, they can screen through these stem cells the new drugs and see their effects and what they think will happen to a human. And scientists also are able to form simple cell structures, just small chemical structures, nothing large, from these stem cells in a human body. So I'm going to ask you a question. What do starfish, deer, lizards, and spiders all have in common? At first, you may think nothing, but actually, they all have the power to regenerate parts of their body. So deer can regenerate their antlers, lizards their tails, spiders their legs, and starfish their legs. So stem cell research is innovation. An article from eLife magazine says that right now, possibly in the future, we're going to have the ability as humans to do the same as these animals. So if we keep moving forward with stem cells, they're going to find a way where they possibly can grow arms, legs, ears, eyes, any part of your body in a lab. So this opens tons of doors for science and humanity as like mankind. So if someone's off at war and lost a leg to an IED and they come home, their life has changed. But we'll have the possibility to regrow that leg, put it back on the human, and change their life forever. So that's called regenerative medicine. Reparative medicine. So at the moment, they're actually doing tests where they get your stem cells out of your spine and they'll inject them into your knee if you have an ACL tear. And without surgery, they're seeing regrowth of that ACL, which is a huge step for medicine. So another potential for stem cells in the future is to cure disease. So the same thing with the knee, injecting these stem cells possibly into cancer tumors, Alzheimer's patients, things like that. These stem cells will go in and morph to whatever cells you need to repair what's broken. So to help the memory of the Alzheimer's patients, it'll repair that part of the brain. Some pretty cool stuff. But, I mean, you could say, is this too good to be true? Well, there are a few issues. So the two main issues are issues of ethics. One with science and one with religion. So in science, there's a general rule called the 14-day rule for embryo research that says human embryos should not be kept alive for more than 14 days. Which, if you're going to regrow a whole leg, you're obviously going to need more than 14 days to do that. So that main ethical rule in science is a big, will slow you down right there at the start. So humans will have to rethink how they see the human embryo in the lab. And then the second scientific issue is issues passed about scientific practices in the lab by U.S. legislature under George W. Bush that restricts the development of stem cells. Other countries like the UK have actually lifted these restrictions, and doctors there are making larger advances faster than the U.S. in the stem cell research. So if the U.S. wants to catch up, some rules are going to have to change. So in another article called Addressing the Ethical Issues Raised by Synthetic Human Entities with Embryo-like Features from eLife, says that most people's problem religiously with stem cells is the killing of blastocytes and the disposal of excess embryos. So when harvesting these stem cells, you do have to kill part of the blastocyte, which, depending on your religion, is living life. So in Christianity, where the biggest problem runs into, because they believe that human life starts immediately at conception. So that blastocyte, which even though it's only a few hours old, is still human life. Judaism thinks about it a little differently. They think 40 days after conception that's when human life starts, and then Islam says somewhere between 40 and 120 days after conception. Another large problem with religion and stem cells is the fact that many people think you get too close to playing God and this ability that you would have to regrow certain body parts. Most people think that the starting of life, because the ability to regrow body parts would lead to possibly being able to actually clone people. So the starting of life, many people think, should be reserved for a higher power. So the Harvard Gazette wrote an article called Stem Cells Through a Religious Lens, which goes very in depth into these religious issues and is where I got most of my research for this. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you have a great day.